Hey, this is Mike from the One Stop Co-op Shop, looking today at Pocket Landship, a little card game I had never heard of until it was suggested by some of our Discord members. But it's a quick, simple, and fun dice allocation game, and I got my copy for under $20, so definitely one I wanted to show off. I'll quickly summarize setup and the basics of play, but feel free to use the timestamps to skip to the good stuff. And if you like our content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, listen to our podcast every week, join the conversation on our Discord channel, and consider supporting us through Patreon for some nice perks. So setup is pretty straightforward. Your landship is going to be made up of 3 parts: a hull, a cannon, and then either a kind of machine gun or shock troops is the 4th option. But for each of these, you have 4 cards to choose from. I just have the Mark 1 for both of these, and then the shock troops. And the little d6 value here is going to indicate both their starting and their max health value. And just to note quickly, if you lose your shock troop or machine gun, you don't lose the game, you're just at a disadvantage, but if either your hull or your cannon go, you lose the game. Additionally, although you can't see all of it, I'm going to create a 3x3 grid. You just see the bottom 3 cards here because those are the ones that are active. And these cards come in 3 types: infantry, mechs, and ones you can't attack. And I like to use 5 mechs and then 2 of each of the other types. I need to shuffle them up and lay them down. And then you flip just the bottommost row. So in this case, I ended up with 2 mechs and the sniper team. And just like for your cards, you're going to lay out d6s for each of their starting health values. Additionally, they have a bunch of commander cards and also some pilot cards. You can pick one or choose randomly. I have Vogel, who gives me a repair of 2 of my cards, 1 for +2, 1 for +1. Nice way to get out of a bind. And additionally, you shuffle the 6 advantage cards. Those will come into play as bonuses when I defeat pairs of mechs. And that's it for setup. You're ready to go. So the basics of gameplay are super simple. You're going to roll 3 d6s. And you'll then assign your dice to your tank's parts. And based on which value you assign to a part, you'll perform different actions. For example, on the hull, a 1 will prevent any damage to it on the next turn. Ingenuity lets me modify my other dice. There'll usually be at least 1, if not more, no action results. They'll always have at least 1 repair action. It'll be +2 for itself or +1 for one of the other ones. And then the hull here has an outmaneuver one that lets me move the enemies around. Whereas both of these ones are my damage dealers, the cannon being better at dealing with mechs, and the shock troops and machine guns better at dealing with infantry. I resolve the 3 dice in whatever order I like, and that's it for my turn, as simple as that. If I do deal damage to someone, I just tick their die down, and if it goes down to 0, they are defeated. And when they're defeated, I remove them, and then I take the card behind them, and if there's no card directly behind them, the one closest to the left or right. And I flip it over, put a new health die down, and start another fight. Oh, one more important rule, especially when you take a bunch of damage. You can choose to roll fewer than your full 3 dice. And for each die you don't roll, you get to pick one of your parts and repair it for 1 damage. But then you cannot place a die on that part. Basically, you've done emergency repairs with it. Enemy turns are very similar. You also roll 3 dice. But in this case, you take the lowest value die you rolled and put it on the leftmost enemy. Middle on the middle enemy. Highest die on the rightmost enemy. And just like your cards, they will perform different actions. For example, here with a 4, it has target acquired, 1 damage to the strongest unit. So I would have to damage my part that had the most health on it. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you lose your shock troops or machine gun, you don't lose. You just roll 2 dice from then on instead of 3 and are clearly at a huge disadvantage. But if your hull or your cannon are destroyed, that's it. The game is immediately over. Meanwhile, for you to win, you have to destroy all 9 enemy cards. And either when your 1 expendable card is destroyed, or when there are only 3 enemy cards left just forming 1 row, you go into basically sudden death, where nobody can repair anymore, you just have to hammer each other and try to win. And as a few other quick details, you can use your commander before or after any action on your turn, but you can't interrupt the enemy turn, like if they killed me, I couldn't suddenly repair with this. And for these advantage cards, every time you kill a mech, you put a token or a die on there, and whenever you've killed your second mech, you draw 2 cards. You pick one you like, it goes with your commander, and again can be used before or after one of your actions on your turns. And the other one gets discarded. So that's it for the rules, let's see if we can survive. First turn, I've got 4, 5, 6. 4 and 5 for my hull repair, but 6 is outmaneuver, which lets me move the enemies around, and I can kind of see like what they're better at, like who's better on the right side or in the middle, so that might help. 6 for the shock troops does 2 damage, which is a ton, but they have to damage themselves 1. 5 hurts anybody 1. 4 does 2 damage to somebody who's revealed but not on the front line, which is currently impossible, but some enemies will switch places with somebody in the back, and that would then become a possible action. The cannon can shoot anybody for 1 with a 4. repair themselves for a 5, or repair themselves with a 6. So not a ton of choice here. Let's do the 1 damage with the cannon, the 1 damage with the shock troops, and then outmaneuver. And I can't hurt the sniper team. That's one of those ones that can't be attacked. Every time they activate, though, they'll tick down 1, so after they've taken 2 actions, whether they miss or not, they will be done. So let's see. For outmaneuvering, this guy does 2 damage to the hull on a 5, but misses on a 6. And he just repairs or misses in the middle. So he might be better in the middle to make that catastrophic hit less likely. This guy misses on a 5 and only does 1 damage on a 6. I mean, he's not too bad in any case. But yeah, I think I'm going to switch these two. And for my 2 damage, I don't love that this guy can do 2 damage to me, potentially. So let's deal both to him. Enemy turn. 4, 5, 6 as well. So the sniper is going to do a 4, 1 damage to the strongest unit. And the enemies do have to resolve their actions left to right, so I can't kind of mess with the order. So the hull is going down to 5. Wolf class does get a 5, even though I put him in the middle. 2 more damage to the hull, yikes. And then the Wildcat's doing 1 damage to my shock troops. Rough turn overall there. And I could do emergency repairs with my hull, but I'm not that bad off yet. 2 and double 4s. So 2 lets me modify a die with my hull, or I can repair 2 with a 4. We're definitely doing that. My shock troops can shoot a unit behind with a 4. A 2 makes them take no damage next turn, so I guess I'll do that. And then a 2 would have been a jam for the cannon, so that's just 1 damage to any of their units. So that heals my hull back to 5. My shock troops are invulnerable next turn. And we'll get their first mech down to 1 life. And they do have extra dice, so I like to leave the die that gave someone a power on them until the next turn to remind me of the effect. Enemies? 1, 4, 6. Oh, and sorry, the sniper should actually be down to 1. Oh, bullseye. 1 damage to the weakest unit, which is great because the shock troops cannot be damaged. And that means the sniper will be destroyed. And not because he did a bullseye, just because he took 2 actions. So he's removed to the dead pile. Closest enemy behind him slides up. And also from the 3rd row as well. And they're immediately revealed. Oh, another nasty mech. And they go up to their full damage capacity. And by the way, you can mess with the difficulty of the game and also kind of judge what the toughest people are by this little SR rating in the upper right. Higher number means more dangerous generally. So for example, this Wolf class I'm about to destroy is a 3.3, one of the highest. I think 4 is the worst. Okay, the Wolf class gets a 4. Oh, look, he's going to retreat and repair. Swap back 1 card and reduce damage by 1. And we get, wow, all of our mechs are coming out early. We haven't even seen infantry yet. So there's a Boar class mech, a 4.0, so we can guess that he's tough. Nice thing is, though, with the Wolf class only having 2 life, if we can roll a 4, we can do infiltration tactics and blow him straight up with my shock troops. And finally a 6 on the Wildcat. Oh, this is such a great turn. 1 damage to my shock troops, which again is ignored by them being into the trenches. What an awesome result overall. All right, let's see if we can get that 4 to use their infiltration tactics. Ah, darn, I didn't get a 2 to modify the dice either. Next time, next time. Okay, so 1 would repair the shock troops. They don't necessarily need that yet. 5 for them does 1 damage to anybody. Remember, 6 does 2 damage but hurts them. 1 would do an armor-piercing shell to any mech on the front line. That seems good. And then I guess I could outmaneuver again, mess with these guys' placement. So let's see. The Boar class is supposed to be the worst. What does he look like? Looks like he's actually least bad on the right side. I mean, he can retreat and repair, but I'm less worried about that than him killing us. But I like that guy being on the right. How about him? Oh, I mean, he's great on the left. He deploys to the center, and he does no action on it, too. So yeah, even though it's not that much of an improvement, I switched the Wildcat and the Boar. Then I can do 1 damage to anyone, another 1 damage to any mech, which is anyone on the front line right now. They say the Boar is the worst, so let's believe him and knock him down to 4. Enemy turn. 2, 3, 5. Beautiful, no action for the Badger class. Oh, retreat and repair. Swap back 1 card and reduce damage by 1. He didn't have anything to heal, but I guess the Wolf class is back in action. And this guy's also retreating and repairing, and I actually damaged him, so it's going to matter. Wow, we're seeing a lot of people moving around. Oh, and it's an ambush, our other cannot be attacked card for this battle. And this one is pretty nasty. Only on a 3 will it miss, and it does 2 damage with a 2 or a 4. So the fact that it ended up on the right side, it might only get a 5 or a 6 for 1 damage, probably good for us. Alright, here we go. 2s and a 6. A 2 could make the shock troopers invulnerable, and there's a decent chance the ambush will hit them. Although I could give the Landship a 2 to change one of the other dice. A 1 would let them reinforce. A 3 would do 2 damage to an infantry or artillery, which there aren't any of, so that wouldn't help. But I could give them a 6 to rush, a little bit risky. And then change this 2 into a 3, which lets me do 1 damage to anybody on the front line. Might be terrible, but let's try it and hope the shock troopers don't die. So we already modified the die. They'll go down to 2 life, but they'll blow up the wolf class with both their damage. And since that's a mech, I'm going to put a die on the advantage deck. Next time I kill one, I'll get a card choice. And our friend the Wildcat is back in action. And then 1 damage to anyone, but again, I can't hurt the ambush. Wildcat tends to repair himself a lot, so I think I'll put it on the Badger. Alright, here we go. 3-3-5. So 1 damage to the hull from the Badger. And yep, the Wildcat is going to switch with whoever's behind him, which is a medium artillery. There we go. That's someone the shock troops can do 2 damage to instead of 1 with their 3 action. And the ambush will do a critical hit on our hull. Another damage, back down to 3. That does destroy the ambush, which means Boar class is back in, and we only have 3 cards left, so we're down to 6. Here we go. No emergency repairs. Yeah, I think I'm okay. 3-4-4. Nice. I could do 2 damage to the artillery, or I could use a 4 for infiltration tactics and do 2 to the Wildcat that ran back. Let's see what my double 4s would be. That would repair hull 2. That's definitely good. And high explosives for 1 damage. Yeah, we'll do that. So that gets me to 5 there. I'm kind of thinking I might want to use Vogel, get that to 4, and get hull back up to 6. I'm going to do it. I don't want some surprise results to kill these guys. 2 damage to the artillery. And then 1 damage to anybody. The artillery has these 5 and 6 results to do extra damage if infantry are on the front line, and both my infantry, or my 1 remaining infantry, is hiding in the other cards. So I think I will actually try to finish them off. Enemy turn! 1-3-5. So 1, he's going to swap to the center with the artillery. 3, the artillery is going to repair 1. And 5, he's going to retreat and repair. Wow. And it's a Mink class mech. One of the weaker ones, and we didn't get our infantry to boost the artillery. Here we go. 1-4-4. And I just realized we didn't even get hurt that turn. That's great. That's a 1-4-4. Ooh, infiltration tactics to do 2 damage. Yes. And then I don't need to repair, so I guess I'll hunker down so my hull will not be taking damage this coming round. And 1 damage to anybody on the front line. So let's do the 2 to the Boar class, who you can't see hiding back here since he's the toughest one on the board, theoretically. And he can't heal while he's hiding, so that's nice. And then 1 damage. I guess the artillery is not as bad because the infantry won't come in until he dies. And yeah, he doesn't want to be on the left. Actually, I love him being over there. Whereas this guy is almost always going to hit. Let's take him down 1. And I'll leave the die there to show we've hunkered down. 2-2-6. So he is going to deploy right. He's going to do nothing. I like this. And then 1 damage to my shock troops. My roll, 1-3-4. I could do infiltration tactics to get the Boar class down to 2 life. I love that. Or I could just straight up kill the artillery. That's really good too. And 3 and 4, either one will give him a high explosive shell. So yeah, let's hunker down with the hull again. And I'm not sure. So killing the artillery will get the Wildcat down here. And actually, the artillery is not too bad right now. So I'm going to use the 4 to do the 2 damage to the hiding Boar class, and then 1 damage on somebody else. So 1 more infiltration hit will smash that guy. And for the 1, let's keep pinging this Mink class. I don't like him being on the right. Enemy roll. 2-3-5. Miss for the 2, awesome. Repair 1 for the 3, I'm okay with that. 5, 1 damage to the hull. Wait, did I hunker down? Yes, I did. I forgot to put a die there. So beautiful, no damage at all. Alright, let's see if we can kill somebody this round. 1-3-6. So we didn't get the 4 to finish off the Boar class, but we did get the 3 to hurt the artillery a lot. And then a 1 would let us do armor-piercing shells to the Mink class, and then I guess outmaneuver. It seems to work. So we got both of these down to 1, and don't forget the Boar class in the back down to 2. And how do we want to outmaneuver? That guy's great where he is. I guess Mink class wants to be on the right, so maybe I'll switch him with the artillery. Let's try it. Enemy turn. What? 5-5-5. Alright. Oh no, 1 damage to the hull, 1 damage to the hull, 1 damage to the hull. What the heck? Oh, wow. Alright, we definitely want to get that fixed before we kill 3 of these guys, because then we'll be in sudden death and won't be able to repair anymore. But we'll go for the luck of the fix that lets us heal 2. And we did get it. A 4 will let them heal twice. 1 of the 3, though. That would let me kill a frontline mech. And that would let me do 2 damage to an artillery or infantry. Boom. So we'll kill both these guys, bringing the Wildcat and the Boar class down. But we're not quite in sudden death. We have 1 guy left back there. Oh, and my hull is back up to 5. And that was my second mech destroyed. I get to draw 2 of these and pick one. I've got outmaneuvered. It's the same as my 6 die. Doesn't seem too interesting at this point. Or smokescreen. I'd play this to reroll all player dice. I will use that. I'm unstoppable. 135. Deploy to center. That's fine. Retreat and repair. So he's actually going to switch with the 1 unseen guy, the infantry. And then 1 damage to the hull. And who have we got for our last seen unit? The mortar team. And they're not too bad. On a 1, they'll hurt my hull even if I'm hunkering down. But on a 2, they'll repair all infantry. They're the only 1. So really, I'm pretty happy with where they are. Here we go. 1, 4, 6. 4 could repair my hull again back to full. That seems like it might be a good idea. I could actually repair my shock troops too, and then just do... Oh wait, that's also a repair. I don't know if I want to do that. Or I could do 2 damage but hurt my shock troops and then another damage and just smash somebody all up. But then we would go into sudden death. I don't know. Well, yeah, no guts, no glory, right? So with the 6, I'm going to go down to 2 and destroy the Boar class that's hurt. Does get me another die towards an advantage card. My hull is back to pristine condition. My cannon has literally never been hit. I've never had a game like that. And don't forget, if my shock troops die, I'm not dead. So the fact that they're the weakest is kind of okay. And then 1 damage to any frontline mech. I forgot the Wildcat comes straight in. No repairing anymore. So I guess I would have had to do my hull repair before the shock troops, but that's fine. So 1 damage to a frontline mech. I mean, the Badger class, I can take him out faster. And once they're down, they roll fewer dice, do less stuff every turn. That's all good. Enemy turn. 2, 5, 6. 2, they repair, but they can't. Critical hit, 1 damage to the hull. And glancing hit, ooh, 1 damage to the shock troops. I was about to do emergency repairs, then I remembered I can't, so they might just get blown up. 1, 2, 5. I could put a 2 on them so they can't be hurt next turn, although I guess they're not really doing anything. Or a 5, I would just hurt somebody 1. And a 1 would let me hurt someone as well. That would leave me with a 2 here, which would just do ingenuity. Not too interesting. But yeah, so let's do 1 damage to anyone. 1 damage to any mech. And then I'll just not use the ingenuity, I guess. So I'll get the Badger class down to 1. Not quite dead. See if my shock troops survive. 1, 4, 4. So with 1, that's a damage to the hull. 4, my first damage to the cannon. And 4, another damage to the hull. My shock troops stand strong. Alright, let's clean this thing up. Boom! 2, 3, 3. Ooh, 3 would be 2 damage to any frontline infantry or artillery. And that'd be 1 damage to anybody, and another ingenuity I don't need. But yeah, that'll get the infantry down to 1. And blow up the Badger class. And by the way, although I don't have them in play, there are cards and abilities that'll say, like, only hit the left, or the center, or the right. When you're down to 2 enemies, there is no center. And when you're down to 1 enemy, everything can hit them. That Badger, by the way, was my 4th mech kill. So disable, immobilize 1 frontline enemy unit. That would have stopped them from retreating and all that stuff, but I don't need that. Or prowess, change any 1 player die to any value, yes. When the enemy's down to 2, you only roll 2 dice. 3 and 6. Oh, 3, a miss. But 6, I do lose my shock troops, so I'm also only rolling 2 dice now. Alright, you jerks, let's bring this home. 1 and 6. Yeah, I realize without the shock troops, I'm going to have a much harder time hurting things, but the cannon can... Oh no, that'll be a frontline mech. And the 6 is outmaneuvered. That's useless. Let's use my smoke screen to reroll them both. 4, 5. 4 and 5 are both repair for the hull. But 4 hurts anybody with a cannon, so I'll take it. I'll finish off the infantry. So now we just have a full health Wildcat, which actually with the cannon only doing 1 damage a turn, this is going to be a little bit tough. He gets a 3. Which, oh great, he would have healed and retreated. None of that is happening clearly. Okay, 5 and 5. Both repair a cannon. Alright, I'll go and use my prowess to get 1 damage on him. Oh, it's a drag-out battle. 3. He repairs again. Awesome. Anytime he skips his turn, I am happy. 3 and 5. And good, 3 will hurt him. The hull just repairs for nothing. Boom! Roll a 3 again for me, buddy. Roll a 3 again. Yes! This mech is just... I must have, like, injured the driver or something. He has no idea what to do. Okay, give me some damage. 3 and 5. I will take it. So he's down to 3. I think I'm on the home stretch. And these dice sure are rolling a lot of 3s. A 2. Repair damage by 1. What? You are not very smart. 4 and 4. Repair hull, but 1 damage in front line. He's down to 2. Him again. 2. Repair. Wow. I guess this guy does have a third of his actions being repair, and 5 is a miss. This is a great one to end on for me. Back to me. 4-4. 1 damage from the high explosive shell. I think that's all she wrote, buddy. But keep trying. Repair yourself again. Why don't you? And yeah, the 3 will do it. Boom. So there you go. I survived my fight of Pocket Landship. Looking not too bad. And for a very inexpensive game, I like this one. Again, there's some nice variety in the parts you can pick, in the enemies you face, the commanders you can choose. They even have a little campaign that tells you which cards to use and slowly increases the difficulty. And I'm not going to do a full review on this one because it's so light and simple, but basically I fully recommend it. If you don't mind the randomness of the dice potentially killing you, it's very inexpensive, very quick to play. You can play 2-player co-op even, where you use 2 dice per turn. Don't come in expecting deep strategy and tactics, but yeah, I think this one is a blast. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.